Many are saying it is time for Mike Elias to start thinking about players to deal. And a big update on Tyler Wells and his timetable to return. Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Leiberman. This is Orioles Digest. The Birds getting ready for a big doubleheader with the Minnesota Twins. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that this picture is rosy, right? I understand what we're looking at here. I understand that the Birds are 15-24 and 7.5 games out of first and 4-6 in their last 10. I understand this. I also understand that it is May 14th, okay? I also understand the Birds have a dozen players on the IL who could come back and make an impact. I also understand many players, mostly in the lineup, have been underperforming since the middle of last season. But I say all this to say, if you're going to start talking about who to deal and that the Orioles are sellers, then why even play the games? I say it's too early. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to the latest injuries. I'm going to get to this birdswatcher.com piece about the 4 birds that should be on the block and they should be looking to make deals for. Before I forget, please like, subscribe, do all of the things, because we are here all season. For better or for worse, we are here all season, and there's still a lot of season to be had. And so I would like to start with this headline: 4 impact trades the Orioles can make to kickstart the rebuild. Well, first of all, and then the subhead, with the Orioles trending towards selling, here are 4 players who could be on the move. I take issue with the headline, number 1, kickstart a rebuild. This is not a team in rebuild mode. This is just a team that is underperforming. There's a huge difference. Give me your comments, please. If you think this is a rebuild right now, tell me why. I just think we're seeing an extremely underperforming, particularly offense. Okay? But let's dig deep into what this article is proposing and why I think I just disagree with it. It's a well-written piece. I just disagree with it. So here's what the piece proposes. The piece proposes that the Orioles think about dealing Jorge Mateo, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Ryan Mountcastle, and Zach Eflin. And I want to take them one by one just very briefly. And again, I want your thoughts. So let's start with Jorge. All right, look, we know that Jorge is hitting 133. Okay, we know he's on an expiring deal, and maybe the Birds do move him, maybe. But I still say it's premature to be talking about that. Sir Anthony Dominguez, he's walking a bunch of people this year. He's not looking dominant. Okay. Ryan Mountcastle, probably one of the major disappointments, if not the biggest disappointment. I mean, the slash line of 227, 263, 336 with only 2 dingers in almost 40 games, is definitely concerning. But lately he has shown, some resiliency and some signs of his old self. And I get that you have Basayo and Kobe Mayo, who could be coming up and you don't want to block them. But here's the one that just dumbfounds me. They put Zach Eflin in this article. Okay? Eflin, yeah, he's a pending free agent, but it is way too early to talk about moving Zach Eflin. That's him in his rehab start. I want to not have that. Come on. Moving Zach Eflin at the deadline would be throwing in the white towel. And here's why I don't believe the Birds are ready to throw in the white towel. And I'll start with Tyler Wells. Tyler Wells spoke about his recovery and how it's going. And I want to show you the quote, if you'll allow me to. If I can get to it. There it is. Tyler says, it's a very fluid situation. It's based on how everything continues to bounce back and feel day to day. Everything's been feeling great. Everything's been good. Really happy with where I'm at with my bullpens, how everything's been feeling, how everything's been bouncing back. So far, so good. This is, music to the Orioles' ears. And even though Tyler Wells won't be back, best case, until after the All-Star break, this is a bit of positive news. And I bring this up for the very reason that the Orioles have 5 guys on the 60-day, right? They have Tyler, they have Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez, Albert Suarez, and Colton Cowser. And then Sanchez isn't on the 60-day, but Gary's nowhere near close to coming back. Okay, so these are players that could potentially help you in the second half of the season. Can you imagine, even if we just get a couple of these guys back and healthy, they could change the dynamic of a rotation, or in Colton's case, the dynamic of a lineup. And furthermore, these guys are coming back soon. Ramon Urias, he'll be activated, maybe today. Jordan Westberg, probably in the next 2 weeks. Kittredge, who can really impact games and be your setup guy, especially with Félix Bautista being almost lights out. Kittredge is coming back in the next week or so. Then you look down to the farm, and Enrique Bradfield is on the mend. Samuel Basayo is on the mend. And so what I'm saying is this, and I do, obviously, I want to get your thoughts. I want to hear what you say in the comments, but I just think to characterize the Orioles in a rebuild is a complete and utter look, the season has been an embarrassment so far. That's not lost on me, but this is not a rebuilding team. That's number one. Number two, to throw around names that you're going to deal at the All-Star break, like a Zach Eflin, to me is just clickbait, right? It's clickbait. If the Orioles are in it in any way, shape, or form at the All-Star break, Zachy Eflin ain't going nowhere, because that's your ace right now. He and Sagano have looked great. Dean Kramer has looked great as of late. So this is a pitching staff that is getting its stuff together. Now it's about the lineups. Obviously, I want to hear from you. Today's a big doubleheader. You never say must-win games in the middle of May. But should the Orioles be able to sweep, and I know you're probably saying, oh, it's pie in the sky. Should the Orioles sweep, then you're looking at, progress. And here's the deal. 7.5 games behind is not where you want to be. But let's be realistic for a second. I propose to you that the Orioles could, at the All-Star break, only be 4 back. If the Orioles are 4 back at the All-Star break, they're not sellers. Now, it's a different situation if the O's are, I would say, north of 12 back, north of 10 back at the All-Star break. Then you start to think about, okay, is this season done? You got to look at the wild card and all that. I still believe in this team. I want to hear from you. This is Orioles Digest. I'm Jon Leiberman.